Welcome back. Spring is in the air, and baseball spring training is halfway over. In a few weeks, some of your favorite players and favorite teams will be taking the field in some of your favorite stadiums. I cannot wait to add one or two new ballpark visits to my list this year. Which reminds me, I am Grayson Knight, and this is Baseball Podcasts Are Fun. Today is all about ballparks. In fact, this interview will be one of a two-part series where we speak with people about their hobby of seeing all the major league ballparks. I've only been to a few, but as we will soon discuss, there is so much to see and do at each ballpark. And each one has its own unique charm. Joining me today are two ladies that share a passion for visiting big league baseball stadiums, Lisa and Serena, also known as the traveling baseball babes. Love visiting the parks, seeing sights, and blogging about their adventures. I cannot wait any longer to hear about how much fun they have. So let's get to it. Ladies, welcome to the show. How are you guys?
We're good. Thanks for having us.
We're good.
Thanks for being here. First, I want to acknowledge that March is Women's History Month, and I am so glad you two are my special guests to round out this month's episodes. Can you both take some time and explain who you are? How long have you been baseball fans and how this great experience started? Lisa, please go first.
Okay, I have been a baseball fan since I was 8 years old. I used to go to the games with my father. He's a huge Met fan as well, and we would go to back then Shea Stadium, and that's how it is. It's just our little thing we do. And then I met Serena, and that's our thing we do. So that's how I got into it.
Serena, same question to you.
I also started when I was really young. My mom, she worked the weekends when I was a little kid. So my dad took us, he was in charge on the weekends. He would take us to Shea Stadium. He was a big Met fan. My mom's a huge Yankee fan. So that was the only way he could get us at Shea Stadium while my mom was at work. So that's really how it started. Back then, the Mets were garbage. And really you could go up to the gate and buy tickets the day of. It didn't really matter, and you could sit anywhere. It's a little bit of a different story now to go see our two New York teams. It's not so easy. But that's how it started. And eventually my parents got divorced. So my mom was in charge of the ticket buying, and we became Yankee fans. And as Lisa said, we met, and the rest is history.
So one of you is a Mets fan and one of you is a Yankees fan. How do you think the newer Yankee Stadium and Citi Field match up against their predecessors?
For me personally, the new Yankee Stadium is so similar to the old one. It's almost like she got a facelift, you know. She was a classy old lady who just wanted to get a little Botox. That's kind of what it was.
What about you, Lisa?
Well, I think Citi Field looks completely different than Shea Stadium.
Yeah.
I love Shea Stadium. Shea Stadium had character. That's the nicest way for me to put it. But I enjoy Citi Field. I think Citi Field is a beautiful park, but Shea Stadium holds more memories for me.
You both have full-time jobs. Before we talk about individual parks, what goes on into planning each of your trips?
Well, up until now, it's going to be all about like whoever gets a new ballpark, because we kind of hit all of the stadiums already. So it's going to be like a one-off here and there. But initially, it kind of became like, okay, our goal is to do the Midwest, for example, or Chicago. Like, let's use Chicago. That's a really easy example because there's two teams in the same city. It became looking at the schedule to find out when they were both home during the same week. And that's how we would plan it out. A little bit more challenging was when we did the California ballparks, because that's, we did Northern California and then like mid to south, but that's, you do two LA and San Diego, that's tough. You're talking about a lot of logistics to make sure all three teams are home roughly in the same week. It's not that easy. And sometimes that means we were going to like Texas in August, which is really brutal.
Which is not recommended if you don't like heat.
If you can avoid it, don't do it. But that was when we could get the Rangers and the Astros home at the same time. So we really had no choice.
So you guys talked about going to newer ballparks. When did you guys first go to Globe Life Field? Did you go this?
That's the last one. Oh, what you're talking about, the new one or
Yeah, the new Globe Life.
the new
Globe.
one? That's the last. That's the one. That's the one we have to go back to.
You guys haven't
No,
been
not the new one. The original Globe Life we went to, but not the
There
new
was
one.
there was a big
Okay.
pretty sign there saying new stadium coming as we were visiting the park, and we were like, oh no.
Talk about bad timing.
Okay. So that's not
So
that's
you've been there, I'm guessing. Have
No,
you
I
been?
haven't been there.
Ah.
Globe Life, are you talking about? The new
Yes.
one? No, I've not been there, but
Okay.
I watched the 2020 World Series and it looks really, really cool.
Yeah, it looks a lot nicer than the original, but you know,
It
if
does.
they really need a new one, I don't know.
That's definitely on your bucket list, right? The next.
Of course, we have to finish.
Mhm. Do you discuss multiple trips or just play it by ear? Because like you said, you try to find out when every team's home. Or have you ever gone just want to go? Like there's a Yankees game, let's just go.
Well, we did recently in I want to say June or May. We were planning a trip to San Francisco and the Napa Valley, and we had no intent. We weren't talking about baseball at all. We were just going to have a nice, trip to the wineries and maybe see the Golden Gate Bridge in Alcatraz. And I don't remember if it was Lisa or myself checked the baseball schedule and we're like, the Giants are home. We could go back. And we got really lucky and were able to score tickets. And it was during the time when the stadiums weren't open to full capacity yet. So we really did get lucky. We had an Instagram fan who was a season ticket holder at the time.
And they offered
the
us
Giants,
tickets.
were not selling to the public. They were only selling games to the season ticket holders. So they really did us a solid. They went on, got us, got us tickets, and we got to go to the game. It was really, but that was not the goal of the trip. It just kind of was like this will be kind of nice to do.
Yeah, it was a happy accident.
Yeah, very much.
I have so many questions, and I'm sure my 12 listeners want to know. So
this sounds like our bloggers.
You have more fans than us, so you're doing better.
I have that. I and that one guy in Germany. I mean, that one guy in Germany is awesome. Yeah, and I recently got one guy in Switzerland, so like I'm international. So yeah,
that's great. You're internationally known.
That's right. We don't even have Canadians on our blog yet.
So here come the good questions. Have any of you sat on top of the Green Monster in Fenway?
Not during a game, but we did recently go to we went to see a concert there, and we did a tour, and they take you right to the top of the Green Monster. So that kind of yes, but kind of no.
They took us on a tour. Speaking of Fenway, did you for the tour, did you see the plants and the garden that they had in back?
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's what we had. We had that too. So what are the best seats you've ever sat in? Well,
I think people would argue with us that everyone would say by the dugout or right behind home plate is ideal, but we are not like that. We like behind home plate, but up.
But up a little, not totally high, but that third level up.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're just
in the lower rows. So you kind of almost overhanging home plate. You got a good look at the balls and strikes, and then you can see the ball leave the bat, and you get a good when you're sitting too low, every pop up looks like it's a home run, and meanwhile it's hit to the second baseman.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys ever been in a skybox?
Let's see. You did for Northwell, didn't you, at City Field?
I've never been to City Field. But we did to when we went to Miami.
Cincinnati, Serena.
Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
We got invited into that fancy box.
You're right. We did in not St. Louis. What city was that?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, yes.
Our last hurrah.
We got invited into the Fox Sports
Mhm.
box. Fox Sports box.
Um,
That's hard to say.
Yeah, say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
when we went to Miami like opening weekend of 2019, we sat in the skybox and it was literally right next to Derek Jeter's skybox, and we waved to him and he waved back.
Wait back.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna try to not say anything about him.
Be nice.
I will be very nice and not say my opinion on that man.
Okay. I've been to
It's
6
PG,
ballparks.
Serena. It's PG. Be nice.
I have.
I've been to 6 ballparks: Tropicana Field, Marlins Stadium, Old Turner Field, Truist Park, Target Field in Minneapolis, and Fenway Park. But you've both been to all of them except Globe Life Park. So which one? So which one is the number 1 in your books?
That's a hard question, but
Mhm.
And do you want us to think outside of our affection for our own ball teams?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So Lisa, do you
I'll
have a
go.
number 1? Okay.
My number 1, and a lot of people are surprised, it changed until I went to that stadium, is Detroit. I fell in love with Detroit Stadium when we went.
And why is that?
It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's so cool. When you go there, they have these huge tigers in the front. They have so much to do inside. They have like a little amusement park inside. Like there's a great view of the field. There's a lot of statues and baseball history documented in the stadium. It's just a really good time. So that's my number 1. And then San Francisco is a close second to it.
My dad went there. I think it was last summer with his friend. He said it was pretty good. They faced the Astros, Zach Greinke. But I don't really know the details of the game.
Did they boo the Astros?
Probably, yeah. What about you, Serena? What's your favorite?
I'm a big, so I guess old school wise, I really loved Camden Yards. It seems to be, that's the ballpark that a lot of the new designs are almost mimicking. And I really love that. But if I were to take a modern version of Camden Yards, it would be AT&T Park. And so, oh wait, it's not even called AT&T. Oh my God, what's it called now?
What's
Pac Bell.
Pac Bell?
Yeah.
That's what my dad said.
Oh, see, it's not even called our original AT&T Park anymore.
It's a corporation.
Everything's a corporation.
Mhm. I know picking a favorite is tough on you guys. So let me ask another way. Which
Okay.
ballpark has the best surrounding community? At Truist, we have the Battery. Wrigleyville hugs Wrigley Field. What stands out for you and why?
I think our first exposure to like this concept of, because where the Mets and Yankees play, I mean, now with gentrification, it's getting a little bit more like a community and a neighborhood, but it was never like that. The Bronx and Flushing, you would never go hang out there. You go to the game and you go home. So I think the first time we kind of saw that was, at least you can correct me if you remember things differently, was Wrigley. That you go to Wrigley Field and there's this whole vibe where that whole neighborhood is like all about their team, and we loved it. So it's probably not the most up-to-date or modern version of that at this point, but it was our first exposure to seeing that. And I think that is very sentimental and for me in that way, that I thought it was so different. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does a little bit.
I think more stadiums are trying to do that now, like kind of build around the stadium other things to do. Like in Atlanta, it kind of had like everybody was hanging outside there. I mean, Wrigley's was a little bit different, but yeah.
What's it called? Doesn't Miami have a mall like right next to it, or did it? Didn't it have a mall?
Not that one.
No, not that one.
No.
The Fenway's got.
Fenway. Yeah, Fenway has like the.
Fenway has a lot built up now.
Yeah.
It used to not be. I went to school in Boston, so when I was young and in college, after a game, it was really not advised to be a single girl walking around in that Fenway area at night because it just was not. It was seedy. But now they have a lot of like luxury apartments in that area, really nice restaurants. So like that whole area went from just being Yawkey Way, that one road where all like the hot dog vendors and stuff is, to really being more like a neighborhood that you could, like the Battery, be a part of and hang out, not necessarily only just go to the ballpark. But that when I was young, that it was not like that neighborhood at all.
What are some like souvenirs you get from ballparks? Like we have a ball or like a bobblehead like this from Detroit. Or I know you guys do the hats.
Yeah, that's my thing. I buy a hat from every ballpark, but we do try to go to free giveaway days, and that becomes quite the goal. Is the
I also had this brilliant idea, and I wish I had them, but I don't have them at the moment because I would have put them all on my couch. I had this brilliant idea when we started that I was going to collect the mascots. So I would buy a little stuffed animal mascot at every stadium, and now I have 30 creepy dolls. So not the best thing to choose.
And they take up a lot of space, don't
They
they?
take up a lot of space, and they're a lot of dust.
In my room, there's like a whole rack of like 50 baseballs, souvenir balls that we've collected over the years.
But balls are not creepy.
Yeah.
They don't have eyeballs staring at you.
But we also have like a bunch of bobbleheads
And
too.
tons of shot
And-
glasses
Oh yeah, and shot glasses. My dad keeps some shot glasses up there.
when I was single.
Mhm.
I've never seen a shot glass from the baseball stadium.
Let's see. What are some things in a ballpark you look for? Like, do you do tours?
That is kind of a new thing we started doing. When did we start doing this? I want to say St. Louis. Oh my God, these are so cute.
Tell your listeners what you're showing.
I'm if you're listening on Spotify, I have a Cubs shot glass right here and an Angels shot glass right here.
I like that the Angels one looks like a little coffee mug.
Yeah.
I love coffee.
That would be way better than the stuffed animals
It
I
definitely
collect.
would have.
Lesson learned. Anyone listening, if you're touring stadiums, don't buy the stuffed animals.
Unless you're really into plushies. So I don't know how or why we came up with this, but in St. Louis was the first time we took because we did Citi Field, we did the Yankee Stadium tour, but prior to St. Louis, we didn't take anyone else's tour. And I don't know what prompted us to even look into it. And we liked it so much that from that game on, we tried to do as many ballpark tours as we could. Like in the case of Tampa and Miami, for whatever reason, when we were in town, they were not offering tours. So we didn't get to tour their stadiums. But for the most part, we really tried to take advantage of that if the team offered it. And if it was available.
Like they bring you in the locker room, they take you all around, the stadium's empty, you get history of the stadium, and it takes away from like wandering around during the game. So now you could sit and enjoy the game because you've already seen everything the stadium has to offer on the tour. So we do suggest that.
Maybe.
Check it out. That's always fun.
What are your feelings on old versus new ballparks? Do you prefer some of the older looking ones like Camden Yards, like you're talking about, or like the new ones like state of the art, like Globe Life Field?
Well, I do. I like have that sentimental attachment to the old and that quaint, almost like miniature feeling, because the ballpark is not like so expansive that like you go to Oakland, right, and they play where the Raiders play, and it's clearly when you sit there, it's a football field. Like you're just so far away from everything, and the seats are just so far away from each other. It just feels very weird. But there is something to be said for having like that really high tech scoreboard and being able to see like a close call on a replay or all that data that big screen can throw up there. And a lot of the newer ballparks, they did a smart thing. Like, you walked around Shea Stadium or the old Yankee Stadium and you would go to the bathroom or stand on a concession line and you couldn't see the field anymore. And you missed half the game because the line was long. At least now, with the newer, more modern ballparks, if you're standing online at a concession stand, is it great? No, but you can turn around and you can still see the field behind you, and the TVs are better quality. You can see the action, and you don't miss as much.
Yeah. My dad visits some parks with a buddy. Sometimes the whole family goes. Do you have families? And if so, are they part of the fun also?
Yes and no. Well, I mean, yes, we have families, but I would say yes and no in the terms of them joining us. My mom joins us a lot because she lives in Florida, so she played host to us quite a few times. So she went to Tampa with us, and she went to Miami with us because she lived down there. But in terms of the stadium touring, no, it's really been us. It's our shtick. We might have family that goes to the game with us, like just a
Right.
normal
We
net
go
game or
separately.
normal
Like
game.
I'll go with my father. You know,
Right.
Serena will go with her husband.
Right.
Like, so we do go to other games. Like I'll go with my sister sometimes. We'll take my dad for Father's Day. So we'll do that. But actual touring, sometimes like
You have a
friends, will,
buddy.
if they're in the state that we're touring,
Right.
they'll come with us. But
Yeah,
for the
like I
most
have
part,
two
it's just us
girlfriends in
four.
Boston. So like, Maria, she went to college with me. She lives in Boston. She came to Fenway with us because she was there,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time I had a friend in LA. She went to the ballparks in LA and San Diego because she was there. Like, so it made sense.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys ever go to minor league ballparks, or is it just major league?
We've been to a few minor leagues, but the focus really has been mostly major league. Like we've been to the Brooklyn Cyclones.
Cyclones. You went to the Ducks.
The Ducks, yes, we have the Ducks, but they're like really, really minor league, the Ducks.
Have you guys gone to the Stripers?
No.
We went to. I think the last time we went was like maybe 2 years ago. It's pretty fun. Especially. Well, I had like this camp, like this Stripers camp, and at the end of the camp, it was like a 3-day camp, just working with baseball. At the end of the camp, there was a game, and you get to go, and there's a few kids that threw at the first pitch, and it was pretty fun.
That's awesome. That sounds so cool.
That does sound cool. Gotta charge my phone. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the inside scoop on Lisa's apartment.
If we cut off soon, if we cut off soon, we'll send you a new link and we'll.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry about that.
It usually
plug it in.
Usually tells me. For my listeners that may be on the fence about going somewhere, can you please try and sell us on a couple parks? Why should they visit like Coors Field?
Because it's beautiful and it's in a great location, and you get a wonderful suntan. And if you're of legal age, there is a brewery inside the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
If you are under 21, that is a no-fly zone, though.
And last one. We were driving up to Toronto at the end of June to see the Rays play the Jays before my Cooperstown tournament. The Rogers Center will be my 7th ballpark, and my dad gets to check one off too.
Nice.
What's the atmosphere like up there? And any must-sees or do's?
There is a brewery. Nope, you're not going to that. So let's take that off the list.
I didn't want to.
Your dad can leave you at the hotel and he can go to the brewery.
Yeah.
We saw
we went to 2 games actually.
We went to 2 games, yes.
We did 2 games there.
One was on the quiet side. I felt like it was not a sold out game at all. It was the evening game that was not sold out. I don't know, maybe it was during the week or something. I'm not sure.
Yes. And then we went to a day game. I see baby Emma.
You do.
Sorry. Serena's cat.
And then the day game was a lot more crowded and people were very much engaged. The night game was a little more mellow.
Yeah. But it was good because we got to see the stadium with it closed, the dome closed, and then we got to see it with the dome open.
Mm-hmm. And that's also good when you guys go to Globe Life Field. They have, if you go to maybe 2 games back to back, the dome closed, dome open. It's just like Mercedes-Benz Stadium that has a few domes.
It's cool because we're not used to domes, so we don't have them over at our stadium. So when we see it, we're like, wow.
at the stadium that we filmed the roof closing, like
Yeah, we
losers.
did like 5 times. You were like filming it, like, oh, look at this. Taurus.
Yep, embarrassing.
Thank you for walking us through this great hobby. I usually get my interviews with a few rapid fire questions, if that's okay.
Okay.
You can add as much or as little information as you want. Ready?
Okay.
Who
Yeah.
wants to go first? Actually, no, Serena, you have to go first.
Okay.
Serena, my Yankees fan. Who's your favorite Yankee of all time? And I know
Bernie Williams. Bernie Williams.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought you were gonna say
He's
Derek
related to
Jeter.
your mom.
I thought you were gonna say Derek Jeter because
No, because I didn't tell you what I wanted to say about him because I'm going to be nice to you.
Bernie Williams is actually cousins with my mom.
Oh my! Can I tell you a quick? I know I'm derailing you, but I will tell you a quick Bernie Williams story.
Okay,
I was in 6th grade. I had braces, and I met Bernie Williams, and all I wanted was my picture taken with him. And the guy who was walking me around kept taking pictures of me with Derek Jeter, and it was getting so frustrating. And I just wanted Bernie. By the time Bernie came in from the outfield, my camera broke, and I still to this day do not have a photo with Bernie Williams.
Wow.
Bernie, if you're listening, can you please, meet up with Serena and take a photo with her?
Take a selfie with me, please.
He's one of the 12 listeners. He's probably that guy in Germany.
He's gonna be excited. I didn't want Derek Jeter. I wanted him.
Yes. So Lisa, same to you, but for Mets.
For Mets? Oh, okay. I have 2. So my all-time favorite Mets, David Cohn and David Wright, both Davids.
I'm David Wright. I've only seen because I watch a lot of baseball stuff in plays. Isn't David Wright the guy who made the barehanded catch over the shoulder?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the captain. He had a short career, unfortunately, due to injury, but
And
I never got to meet him. I like to say that he ran away from me. Maybe he was scared of me, but I never got to meet him.
If you can go to one ballpark tomorrow, do you both agree on where you want to go, or is it a big debate?
No, we're pretty agreeable. I think we would agree.
Yeah, I think so. I think we probably would either throw out the same ballpark, or maybe we would throw out different ballparks, discuss, and come to an agreement.
Yeah.
What is your favorite baseball movie?
I have 2.
Yeah,
Major League and Bull Durham.
that's the 2. A few people have said both of those. I've seen a few. 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Okay.
We got this.
I'm going with Angels in the outfield.
Okay. Okay. The last 3 guests, one has said Angel in the outfield, one of my players on my team, and a few have said Bull Durham, and a few have said Major League, which are really good movies. Do you think Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
No, but I have a reason for it.
Why?
Do you want to know what it is? Okay. So there is a big stink about Pete Rose being blackballed from the Hall of Fame for betting on his own team to win. And he's not allowed to be in there for, in my opinion, as a ridiculous reason. But we're going to let these 2 men in who not only cheated, but lied about it. You're just going to let them walk in? Why is that fair? And if you're going to let them in, why can't we review Pete Rose?
That's a great answer, and you're one of the you're the first person to say no to that question. What about you, Lisa?
I agree. I agree. Agree with Serena. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what your guys' favorite baseball experience has been as a fan?
Well, let's see. Favorite experience as a fan. I don't know why. I don't even know if this is really counting as a favorite experience, but it's the experience that is stepping to the forefront of my memory. And it's a relief pitcher from Oakland almost killed us when he overthrew the guy he was practicing with. in Seattle. But then we got
That's
autographs
true.
out of it.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if that's a favorite experience because we almost died, but I did get an autograph.
okay.
That was a good
That's
one. Or what about when we got to take a selfie with
Robinson Cano.
Robinson Cano?
We did do that.
really?
Yes.
That's cool.
It was, and here is a marketing ploy on how to take a stadium tour, right? We met him while touring the Houston Astros. So we did the guided tour, right? And we got to see the fields, and he was taking batting practice. So guys, do the tour. Come on.
That's why you gotta do the tour.
Gotta do the tour.
When we were in
Ran over
Boston.
and we said, we're from New York. And he's like, come over. And I get my camera all ready. And I forgot that I had the self timer on 10 seconds. So we're standing there and we're like, and it's going 10, 9. I'm like, it'll be done soon. 8, 7. And it took forever, but we got the selfie.
Yay. Yay, we did it! Wow. And with 6 minutes and 56 seconds.
Oh, I see it. Now it's counting down in the corner here.
You ladies have a great hobby. Thank you so much for taking time from your busy lives to share your fun. What about this interview? Was this also fun?
Of course it was.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you again, and I really appreciate it. This will be a popular episode. Maybe even get me to 20 listeners.
Or 21.
It says the laugh here. I like getting different perspectives on the sport, and what you're doing is awesome. If you want to learn more about Lisa and Serena's baseball adventures, please follow them at Traveling Bee Babes on Instagram, or read their ballpark blogs at www.travelingbaseballbabes.blogspot.com. And you can help my show by subscribing to Baseball Podcasts Are Fun on Spotify and YouTube, and following at Baseball Podcasts Are Fun on Instagram. Please join me next week when we get Florence Y'all's pitcher, Casey Grimm, on the show. Until then, I am Grayson Knight, and this was Baseball Podcasts Are Fun. Don't forget to swing for the fences. See ya!